Welcome back to the Art Corner. Today we are going to be using oil paint. And if you're not familiar with oil paint, I'd like for you to get familiar with oil paint. We're going to do a basic palette knife pumpkin today because it is fall. I want you to enjoy the season. In the next week or two though, the next time we do this, I'd like to do a different kind of an oil painting using a contractor's brush, 4 colors, and a big thing of Bounty paper towels. And this is the kind of oil painting you can get just with that technique. So we'll do that in the coming days. But today we're just going to do a simple palette knife pumpkin to give you an idea of how to use oils, and they're a lot of fun. They really are. You will need paint thinner that cleans your brush, and it also helps smooth your paint out, and mineral spirits. And linseed oil. Both of these help with the construction of your oil painting. This is going to be a small, tiny little pumpkin painting. Oils are a little more expensive than acrylic, but a lot easier to work with, believe it or not. They really are. I haven't even drawn our subject, so I'm going to get started drawing today. I got this off of the internet, and I'm just going to kind of sketch in where our pumpkin will be. Kind of want it to feel the canvas. You don't want a great big pumpkin painting in your house, so let's just do a small one. You can set it out seasonally, put it up when fall's over, get your Christmas stuff out. But I am going to just do a sketch here and kind of place it. Let's put this up behind. Now with a palette knife, I've got 3 here. One of them's kind of cruddy and used, which is good. This is a teeny weeny one to get details, and this is a real slick one. We're going to use all 3 of them and a little bit of a brush, but the palette knife will give it texture and thickness, and you'll know immediately it's an oil painting. It'll take it 4 years to dry. No, just take it about 3 months to dry. But it will take it a while to dry because we're going to do it kind of thick. This is not your typical orange pumpkin. This one's kind of white with a little blue and different colors in it. This will go with anybody's decor in your home. Orange doesn't go with everything. So I'm just going to kind of sketch it out here. Love the cool weather, and a new festive painting will help get you in the mood for the season change. Here we go. The further back you go, these little pieces kind of get smaller. There we go. That sort of helps the pumpkin round off to the back. If you do make a mistake, get your big ugly eraser and kind of get rid of some of these extra lines here. There we go. There we go. Now with a palette knife, you won't be able to see any of these lines anyway. Let's take the middle of that pumpkin, the stem, right down in this area. And it's kind of gnarly. So I'm just going to kind of make it real gnarly right here in the center. I've got a white pumpkin, and then I've got, you've seen the kind that look like they have warts all over them. I don't know what they're called, but they're cool Halloween-y looking pumpkins. And we're going to sort of make this look like it's reflected. Okay, so first thing you want to do is your background. Always use your background first. I do have a little paper plate with my colors already on it. I'm going to start out mixing a little bit of blue and white. So you just stick your brush in your thinner like you would water. Then you begin mixing up some background. Let's see. All it takes with oil is just a little bit of paint, and it really, really is strong and vibrant. So you don't need as much paint with oil. Now with the brush, I'm just going to kind of get started on the background. Then I'll palette knife in some thickness. The paint thinner helps it thin it out. Paint, thins your paint and helps it smooth around. And do some more white. We may have a white deficiency today. I hope not. Let's see here. Just thin out this background. This is a simple painting. Not a lot of technique involved at all. Here we go. This is going to be kind of contemporary also. It's not going to be a strong realistic painting. It's going to be contemporary and loose, which is easy to do with oil. Your acrylic paint is not as forgiving actually as your oil is. It dries, and if you don't let it dry in an appropriate time and you put more layers on, it'll take it off. Oil takes 2 or 3 days to dry enough where you don't have to worry about it coming off, okay? Now it takes it 3 months to dry actually before you can frame it. Here we go. I'm just getting more and more paint on here basically. White, just a little blue. And the reason we want a little color back here is, like I said, we're going to be doing kind of a white pumpkin, so I want to get a little color back here. Once again, I'm dipping into my thinner. And I don't even care if my pencil marks get blended in here. That's okay. This is going to be real loose. Here we go, some more white. Now, this is where the palette knife's going to come into play. I'm just globbing some paint on here right now. And I'm going to start out with this kind of a palette knife. Once I get the paint on there, let's get this knife, and I'm just going to do some cool chunks and move that paint around. Like it's really like you're icing a cake. That's what it feels like. Now I'm going to get into some more color down here below and ground my pumpkin. Here we go. But that is what it kind of feels like, is like I'm icing a cake. Getting some blue. Look here. That's yellow ochre, and then the blue I used with my white on the background. And I'm just scraping this on. Here we go. I want it to look maybe like it's reflecting down on a table. Take it across and then pull it down. I just love a palette knife. I'm going to do a little black in here, a little black underneath. Here we go. Hey, it looks cool already. Some more blue. Those of you who like nice, neat realism, this painting's not for you. This one's going to be kind of contemporary. But you know, I think it's good to experiment with all kinds of painting, and you'll kind of find out what you like to do, what you're good at. No painting really is wrong. Well, I guess it could be, but experimenting helps you sort of determine what looks best. And it is just paint. Don't be afraid of it. I do love a really thick, this is cool. I may take this home. Here we go. Look how the oil paint just goes on thick and lovely. Now, I'm going to kind of leave that alone for a minute. This will be the primary color of our pumpkin, but we're going to add a few colors with it. Let me start out with a brush and just start getting it on here. I have poured linseed oil all around my palette, which is a great thing to do with oil paint. You just get it and do this, just pour it all over your paint, and it's laid out there on your palette, and you can just mix it with your paint, and it helps it be real loose and pliable. Here we go. Get some of this white on here, just to distinguish my sections here on my pumpkin. And then I'm gonna start icing the cake again. A lot of paint. I'm gonna dip it in just a little blue. It looks like my light source is kind of coming from to the front here, so we'll make a highlight real strong there in the front. It's okay if some of that paint comes up. Here's some more. Dipping it in my oil again as we go. Look how smooth that goes on. Now I'm going to get into my favorite yellow ochre color and a little burnt umber to show some of the edges here. There we go. That shows sort of the back, some shading, and gives our pumpkin some dimension here. Here's a little black. Gonna add it over here. Now, let me get some of this paint off and dip into some more pure white. Now I'm going to throw it on, and then once again, I'm going to use a smaller palette knife to define a little bit. Here we go. This is just a little plastic palette knife that you would get. You can get it anywhere. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Carl Jesse, any of those places would have one of these. And if they get cruddy, you can just throw them away. They're not very expensive. I personally like a little cruddy palette knife because that excess dried up paint on there will help with texture. Here we go. Now, I want it thick, so let me just dig into some more white here. There we go. Just globs on here. There's my highlight area, so I want it really pure right here. Haven't even started my stem yet. We'll do that in a minute. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to get more of an angled brush, get into my black and my umber with a little oil, and let's define some of these lines here, just so you'll know it's pumpkin. Here we go. There's one back here. There's one right here. Let's get up here, define these. Now, I'm going to do my ochre up around this area. Now, I'm going to mix my white in over. I want to make sure I'm using a brush back here because I do want to make sure it has a stopping point at one place. And then I may go back over it with the white and kind of blend it into my background. We'll see. A little yellow ochre up here. There's a shadow of some ochre here. Throwing that white to it. Here's some more. It's starting to look like a contemporary pumpkin. Now let's get some dark this way. Once again, our light source is coming this way, so I'm going to make it darker over here, significantly. Let's get some black. Don't, like I said before, don't be afraid of dark. It separates the men from the boys, and it really helps your artwork look more professional. Now, let's spread it out using our palette knife. There we go. Oh, I'm loving this. I am learning more and more about contemporary. I've had more and more requests to do contemporary painting, so I've had to. It's not as easy as it looks. I mean, it's contemporary painting's kind of hard. All right, let's squirt some more white out. Then I'll do our gnarly top. Now, with my little detail palette knife, I'm going to add more and more thick white up here. So we know this is a white pumpkin. But guys, I want you to see, I mean, I know oil painting is kind of expensive, oil paint is, but it is well worth the finished product. Don't be afraid to use a lot of paint. Some of my art students will use just little dabs on their plate, and you know, it's thin and it doesn't look important when you get finished with your painting. Make sure, look here, this looks like a cake batter right here, but it adds, and when it dries, it'll look so good. There we go, let's get the edges here. I'm going to throw a little bit down here. I'm even going to do a little blue down here, some more blue. There we go. If you're not confident in doing a realistic oil painting, do a contemporary first and get used to the product. Get used to the feel of the paint. This is the best way in the world to do it, is maybe just do a little contemporary painting so you sort of feel what the oil feels like. There we go. Now, I'm going to get kind of crazy and do some more blue and white up in here before I start my finished detail on my pumpkin, and just get some interesting shadows and things on your background still. Something I've always wanted to do too is get real gold leaf paint and just take it and pour it over a contemporary. If you have a chandelier or a sconce in your house, that gold leaf paint will just shine. There we go. More white. Okay, just a little back here. We don't want to take away too much from the pumpkin itself, but I do want it to be part of the background, okay? Now, not too much straight up and down. Let's start going this way with it. Just a little bit. Bury it some. There we go. A little black, just a touch right here, and a touch right there. This is fun, guys. And to be honest with you, I'm just doing a small one to sort of show you some technique. But your contemporary paintings look a lot better large. No frame at all, just a great big canvas, great big contractor's brush, and large is really usually the way that a contemporary should look. Now here we go with our stem. Start it over here, and then it comes straight down right there in the middle. Now I'm going to add some black here all around it. How fun is this? Now I do want to get a tiny little palette brush again, a palette knife again, I mean. Just put it on the tip right here and see if I can't get a line going right up through here, just with my palette knife. That way it's not so perfect, but you can still see kind of where the pumpkin, where the bends in the pumpkin are, right up through there. Here's some more. Now, let's do just a little squiggly up here. Some dramatic black. I know this is radical looking, but you know what? I love to get radical sometimes and do some different things. It's good for you. There we go. And you'll be surprised the people that love this contemporary. Just really hot right now. Next time we meet, we will do more for the old oil collectors and make our painting look like it's 400 years old. That's kind of me. I like the old oils. And we'll use, like I said, a contractor's brush and some Bounty paper towels. Now, I'm going to use this pointy brush again. Let's get some more white detail in here. Just kind of blend it together right in here some. Another palette knife, some more white paint. And I'm going to really pop some highlight on. There we go, pure white. Pop it on there. That way there's no doubt this is a white pumpkin, even though it's got a lot of different colors in it. Don't get me wrong, I like an orange pumpkin, but a white one will go with anybody's living room, anybody's kitchen. There we go. Some more gnarl up in here. The thicker the oil, the better I like it. Now I am going to get over here to the side, blend in some with my background, just a little bit so that it's not so perfect. There we go. I'm going to blend in some over here, my background. Well, you don't see that start-stop line. It's going away. Is everybody with me? You can buy little oil beginner kits at Walmart. They're cheap. They have like your primary colors, so you can not invest a lot of money until you decide if you like oil or not. That's what I recommend. Get you a few brushes, your mineral spirits, and your linseed oil, and play oil painting. I'm going to do just a little blue right up here. If it drips, that's okay. There we go. And you know what? You'll know when you're finished when you're finished. That's the thing about a contemporary. You kind of know when you're finished when you have the look you want. And I'm still playing. I'm going to get a little more black and umber and gnarl up this just a little more. It's a little boring. Let's make it a little more exciting. Same way here. Same way here. Oh, I'm loving this. There we go. Ta-da! I think we're about through. Guys, this is simple. This is one little oil study I'd like to do today, and then we'll do another one next time. I think you'll really, really like oil painting. It's a lot of fun. It's very professional. And oil, once it dries, let's say in a few months, you can get soap and water and scrub it. It won't come off. And with an oil painting too, you don't have to have a frame. You can just hang them like they are. I recommend a museum wrap, which is a thick canvas about this thick all the way around. That way you don't have to frame them. There we go. Just playing with my edges some. Ta-da. I love it. Now, I know this isn't everybody's deal, but it is a lot of fun. There's our contemporary pumpkin today. Now, you need to sign your work always, and I do not have a tiny brush, so just sign your work right down here. I'm going to get a pencil with a little paint on it. Sign it right down here. That way if I die a famous artist, here it is. Ta-da! Thank you for joining us today for the Art Corner. I'll see you next time.